Oh, hey, folks, and welcome to the Morris October Adventures Day 1. Uh, it's been a while since July, since I made a video. We did our July trip to Ohio and back, and been at home since. So, but this is the first day, the first night out here on this trip. We'll be gone about a week, so there'll be 7 or 8 videos. But today we left just I think it was 11:20 when we left Havelock. We got here right about 2:15 or so, 2:30. So it was just right around 2 something because it was between 3 and 3.5 hours driving time. Good trip, good weather, light traffic, excellent day. Okay, uh, really enjoyable. Of course, it's a school day. Uh, the kids were in school. The college students were back in school. The parents were at work. Summer's over with. So yeah, it was a nice day. But we are at the South 40 campground. Those of you that have followed me before know this is where we stop when we're going from Havelock to Gettysburg. We're just about halfway, give or take a few minutes, and a few miles. It's a nice campground. You're half a mile off the interstate. The price is excellent. I think it was $48 a night with our Good Sam / military / old timer / whatever, discount. Um, Nice. We most of the sites, if not all the sites, are gravel, but they're basically level. I pulled in and I thought, well, I'm gonna have to use the jack blocks and all this sort of stuff. I hit the level button, bingo. The wheels are still on the ground and we're level. So and like I say, this is our go. I mean, we've been here what, Mama, about 6 times now, maybe 7 times, something like that. And of course, next week on our way back home, we'll stop here because, like I said, this is basically halfway between here and Gettysburg. So that's why we stop here. Nice campground. There is a little restaurant. We didn't go there tonight. We've been there before. Kathy's is right up when you turn off the road, the paved road into the park, or into the campground. There's a little restaurant right there on the right hand side, which is on the land that the campground owns, but they don't own the restaurant. All right, it's managed by somebody else, and they leased it out or whatever. But it's still on the same plot of land that the campground owns. So you've got a little restaurant here that you know serves 3 meals a day. We ate there a supper and a breakfast back in July when we stopped here on the way home. So but it was Taco Tuesday, so we had to stay here at the RV and do our Latino or Mexican dish. All right, but hey, I don't have a whole lot to say about today. Like I said, didn't take a whole lot of pictures because this is a route that we travel a lot. And of course, on I-95, there's not going to be a whole lot to see except trees on both sides. Now, when we get to Fredericksburg, we'll pick up 17 and go west to 15, then pick up 15 and go north into Gettysburg. That way, I avoid all the I-395 and I-495 and the I-95 headache from basically Richmond, or actually Fredericksburg, a little bit from Richmond. But all that headache, and the traffic. And last time we were up this way, we weren't in the RV, but we were up this way. We went into York, Pennsylvania for our grandson's baptism, and we were in the car at that time, and it was construction. Oh man, I tell you. Luckily, we have an easy pass, so we were able to get into the carpool lane because there were two of us, right? And we zipped on by. But still, uh, you don't need that headache with the construction and the Fredericksburg to DC to Baltimore traffic. No, thank you. We'll pass on that. But, hey, tomorrow's another day. I'm going to get up not necessarily so early because, like I say, this is basically halfway, and this was 3.5 hours a day, so it'll be about 4 hours tomorrow, maybe a little less. And we'll be in Gettysburg for the next week. Having said that, as we arrive, so is the cold front. So today was t-shirts and shorts. Tomorrow when we get there, I'll be wearing t-shirts and shorts tomorrow morning. But when we get there, I may put on some long breeches. I don't know. I had to tell you a little side note. A couple years back, Easter time, we left Havelock and it was nice. We got here, it was a little cloudy and it had some rain overnight. We had a little bit of rain on the way. And got about Fredericksburg or whatever, and the rain subsided. And at that time, they were still doing some construction over on 17 and 15, so we went ahead and went the 395 route. We get into Gettysburg, get into the campground, we get checked in, we get to the unit, to our site, and as we're unhooking the Jeep, folks, it starts snowing. Luckily, we did have some long pants, but we didn't have any heavy coats. But there was a Walmart nearby. Hey, enough of talking today. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. All right, and my scripture today is 1 Peter 4:8, and I'm going to read 7, 8, and 9. But concentrate on 1 Peter 4:8. So starting with verse 7. But the end of all things is at hand. Therefore, be serious and watchful in your prayers. Verse 8. And above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. Be hospitable to each other without grumbling. That's a short verse, but a powerful verse. All right, But the end of all things is at hand. Now, folks, this is October the 10th. All right. 4 days ago, the Holy Land, Israel, was attacked. Another prophecy coming forth. This doesn't say at the end of time, okay, but the end of all things is at hand. That's basically saying, hey, you need to get ready. All right. Therefore, be serious and watchful in your prayers. Be serious and watchful in your prayers. My dad had an expression, and I'll use it in his honor. What the world needs now is a little more neology and a little less theology. All right. In other words, be serious, get on your knees and pray. Seek the face of God. Therefore, be serious and watchful in your prayers. And above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. Folks, this morning, as usually on Tuesday mornings, myself and a couple of my church brothers get together. And a shout out to Brother Barry, his birthday today. But we were talking about a variety of things, even though, we enjoy each other's company and we talk about different family issues and things. A lot of it is Bible Christian based. And I want to, above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. Leviticus is full of don'ts. Okay? I mean, it was the law. It was the Mosaic law. The law that God passed down to Abraham, and then, through the Ten Commandments and everything else. All right? But Leviticus is known as the book of law. All right? And there's a lot of sins listed. And this is the point I want to make, folks. And we talked about it today also. We talked about it last Saturday evening in our men's fellowship meeting. The love that God has for us is without measure. You know, he sent his only son, John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he sent his only begotten son, that the world should not be perished, but have everlasting life through Jesus Christ, his son. For God so loved the world, even though we were sinners, he still loved us. Even though all the sacrificial lambs in the Old Testament, the Day of Atonement and all of that was culminated in the crucifixion, the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. God loved us so much that even in our sinful nature, that he sent his son. Okay? Christ, when he was being interrogated by the Sanhedrins and the Pharisees, he said, well, what's the greatest commandment? To love the Lord thy God with all your heart and with all your mind. And then the second is to love one another just as God loved you. And this is what it's saying right here. That's exactly what it's saying. Okay, Peter is basically repeating what Christ said. All right? And above all things, have fervent love for one another, for love will cover a multitude of sins. And that's what Christ said. Love the Lord thy God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. And then to love one another just as God loved you. It don't get no finer than that, folks. Okay? It don't get no finer than that. And now, in this time of conflict, like I said in verse 7, you need to be serious and watchful in your prayers. God loved you to send his son, and he's coming back. And when they start fighting and start doing things, you know, in Israel, when they're being attacked, watch out. Because every time that Israel has been attacked, Israel has been victorious. Even when they had less weapons. All right? Even when they were smaller in size as far as their military goes. You know? The Yom Kippur War, 50 years ago. I was 19 years old. I remember the Yom Kippur War and thinking, oh man, Israel's going to get wiped out. There's not going to be an Israel no more. Yeah, right. Okay? Tell that to the Syrians. All right? Tell that to the Jordans. Tell that to the Egyptians. Okay? Tell that to the Lebanese. All right? Hezbollah, Hamas, your days are numbered. Okay? Now, that's not scripture. Well, it probably is scripture, but I don't know where it is. But that's Jerry talking right now. Okay? You start messing with God's people, there will be a penalty to pay. Okay? Hey, folks, tomorrow, another day, short day of driving, then we'll be in Gettysburg for the next week. So, until then, God bless, be safe. Good night.